life, sex, goals, and oh, hell knows, this is Midlife Craving. This episode is brought to you by the island of St. Lucia, because that's where my ass is going to be when this episode is released.
And we all here collective, fuck you.
Yeah. I got my man Zach back with me. I think you're just like kind of a regular now, and that's okay. People love you. I've gotten a lot of notes and messages about you, so I'm happy to have you back on.
I mean, not to brag, but I'm easy to love.
I know. Yes, you are. I am seriously really ready to get out of here. You know, I always start every episode with how hard my life is, and I really just cannot catch a break. So I'm looking forward to getting out of the country, taking a big adult time out. You know, I feel like it's a break that I really need to have at this moment in my life. Make some decisions and go from there. You know, it's just nice to have a time out.
Yeah, the time to think, the time to act.
Yeah.
Fuck
Right.
a little, drink a little.
I know. So it's going to be, hopefully it's beautiful there. I haven't had time to look at anything or even check out the weather. I'm just getting on an airplane and going, you know, we'll see. All right. So we were talking, what was it, last week? Can't remember. But anyway, we were talking about, you know, building our empire and fuck bitches get money. And I love that saying because Lil Kim sings about it and she's my spirit animal. So fuck bitches get money. So talking about, you know, putting yourself first. And this subject hits me hard because when I was going through my divorce, I felt like I really needed to put myself first and just be all about numero uno. And that's even before my child, right? And going through my divorce really set that pace for me. I remember when I was getting separated, I remember I was standing in my kitchen and I was looking around and I was like, oh my God, am I going to be able to afford this house on my own? You know, I was looking at a lot of big bills and it's very overwhelming to take that on yourself. You know, you're 50-50 with someone and then all of a sudden it's like,
well, 50-50 is a harsh number. It was like 78-22. Let's be honest.
You're right. But, you know, it was hard to take on this mortgage and all that stuff. And I had this like flip of a switch in me that was like, that's it. I'm focusing on myself. Fuck bitches, get money. I'm not letting anything stop me or get in my way.
And honestly, that's kind of where I started in life. So, you know, when I was in my early 20s, I was all about like my education, then my job, my career, like setting the foundation for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't want to grow up too fast. Like, I didn't want to settle down in a relationship because when you're 22, 23, 24, let's face it, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know, I did not want to settle down until I was happy being myself, being single, with my relationships with friends and family.
You're an anomaly though. Not everyone does that. I didn't do that.
That's because a lot of people are never shown that as an option. You know, we are in such a society where it's like, you have to be married, you have to have a kid. It's like, okay, boomers, sit down. Like,
and also,
you had
we are the
kids.
we're the first generation to really break through and do that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like my mom was married at 20, had me at 22.
Oh yeah, my mom had like 3 kids by 24 or 25. I'm
right.
Like, and looking back, I'm like, they would have, CPS would have been at my door every day because I'd be like, I've left them in the store again. Like there was just this really cute pair of shoes and I just couldn't help myself.
You know, I wish I would have done that. I feel like in my 20s, I did set myself up for success by, you know, earning all my degrees and starting a career and doing all that stuff. But my goal was, I had it in my mind, you know, get married, have babies, live happily ever after. And man, I was really fucking full of myself thinking
fucking
that,
Disney.
You know, I mean, it's true. Like, and it's something that has affected me because I didn't do that from the beginning, you know?
And it's not, I mean, your case in point. It's never too late to do that. And we're not saying like, just leave your family and just...
No, yeah.
But first off, never rely on a partner for anything. You should always have your own, and together you can build and grow. But even if you're a stay-at-home mom, fucking have a skill set, have something to fall back on, because shit can just fall off from you at any time.
You're right.
And I feel like a lot of people, they never think about that. Like, even when my husband and I were getting married, I was like, well, we have to think about this, and that. He's like, well, I hope that never happens. It's like, me too. Like, I'm not marrying you because I hope we get divorced.
Right.
But 50% of relationships happen and then divorce. It's like, so if you don't think about that and plan about that, like, you know, if you don't have a way of supporting yourself, you are truly beholden to somebody else. And I saw that with both my mom and my dad for 2 very different reasons. And at the very young age, I was like, I will never let somebody have that kind of power over me.
It's funny you say that, and I mentioned it in my first episode. You know, the reason why I have the drive that I do is because I was growing up, and my mom did a great job raising 3 kids, but that's all that she was and all that she knew. And if my dad left her, she would be in really big trouble. And so I, you know, growing up with my father that was an alcoholic, like, I just knew, you know, my mom was dependent on him. And so I told myself, never, ever depend on someone else, because at least I know I won't fail myself, you know?
Well, and that was like a big criteria for me when I was looking at somebody who I could potentially have a relationship with.
Mm-hmm.
And even if it wasn't like, I want to marry you, but it's like, I want to make sure that you can take care of yourself. I knew how much money I was making. And for the age I was making a lot. I had a very comfortable life,
Mm-hmm.
you know, especially coming from where I came from.
Right.
And like, that was a big sticking point for my husband when I first met him. Cause you know, he was a paramedic, you know, I was an IT consultant.
Mm-hmm.
I made more money. And he was like, well, you make so much more than I do. I'm like, but I don't feel that I have to take care of you. Like, you can support
Right.
yourself. Like, you weren't living in your mom's basement rent free. Like, you had a nice car. You had, you know, all kinds of Wizard of Oz bullshit that costs more than
God.
most people can afford to do anything
Remember,
with.
hold on. Remember I was at your house? Remember I was like cutting drywall on your fucking ceiling or something? I mean, you know, just swinging my dick around. And remember like his Wizard of Oz witch? Remember I broke her hand off?
Yeah, we didn't tell Corey that story. Corey, if you're listening,
sorry, Corey.
I wasn't there. I don't know this person, and I plead the fifth.
Oh my God, that was so funny. I had tears.
It was a comedy of errors because it's like we kept getting worse. Like, we
I
tried
know.
to move it, and like a fucking leg would fall off.
I know.
I'm like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, clearly we didn't study biology because we did not know how to handle a body.
I know. That shit was funny. Fucking manic. I was like, what the hell is this
Just so you guys
shit?
know what we're talking about.
I know.
My husband is a huge Wizard of Oz fan. So big, in fact, I had to kick a roommate out of my basement
Oh my
to
God.
make room for his collection. And he has a very, very well curated
It is beautiful,
collection.
but that doll is a
But-
little
well, it's
creepy.
not
Or
even
not a mannequin, yeah.
So he had a mannequin that his ex-boyfriend sculpted the face to look like a Wicked Witch. And it's a mannequin. And I'm like, if that's your church, you go ahead. It can stay in the basement. It was a finished basement. It was a lovely room.
Yeah.
The rest, like, the witch is not going to live in my formal living room. But other than that, you do you, Bill.
You're very supportive because I'd be like, that thing's going right in the dumpster.
Well, so like all of his other kitsch, like he's all into like Star Trek and like all kinds of. I'm like, in the new house that can go in an office on the
Yeah.
second floor, and I'm gonna put a false bookshelf up so people don't know that that's there because that's too much in
Yeah.
one house.
yeah. I
love you, Bill, but you know we've had this conversation. You know, nothing new.
Yeah, I mean, you know, people are really big into like collectible stuff. I feel like we're going off a tangent, but now I'm thinking about like all the weird things people like love and collect. And
Well,
I mean,
and
I
there's a
collect dildos,
difference-
but and vibrators.
Well, yeah. I think there's a difference between collection and just having shit.
Yeah, you're
Like I
right.
said, like,
his is like a
Corey,
yeah.
like even my stuff, like I collect really fine silver and china and crystal, but it is a collection that is used.
Yeah.
I don't just have shit like
Piled up,
punishing
yeah.
like in the corner.
All right, so back to fuck bitches get money. I thought I would share ways that I feel like I execute that
Mhm.
motto in my life. So the biggest thing that I do, and I know you've seen me because we used to work together, is I make lists. Do you make lists?
I am not a list person because I keep in my I'm very diligent about like forecasting things in my mind and making that happen. So
Are you like,
I
you
don't
have like ESPN or something?
there's a 20% chance that it's already hot outside.
Yeah, I can't do so. I write down lists everywhere. In fact, I have notebooks that I've kept, you know, in my career. I write everything down every day. I start fresh. And then I do that at home as well. And the biggest key with making lists is prioritizing them. And then I don't jump around. I cannot move on to the next thing until the first thing is done. So that's a big thing, I feel like,
Mhm.
especially at work. You know, I have my certain tasks, and my biggest goal at work is to be fucking left alone. AKA, I never want to have anything waiting on me, you know? So like for me, making the list is very important. And then this is a huge one. It's surround yourself around others that have like minds and similar goals and values, because that is fucking huge.
I mean, that really goes into one of my favorite sayings that I just live by in life. RuPaul from RuPaul's Drag
Oh
Race.
God.
One of the sayings he says all the time is, if them bitches ain't paying your bills, don't pay them bitches no mind.
Mm-hmm.
And that, if you think about it, like, yes, it's kind of a funny, like, kitschy saying, but the more you think about it, it's like, it really, the root of that is find the people who matter in your life and
Yeah.
work on those relationships, and anybody else can go fuck themselves.
You're right.
I mean, case in point, when we worked together, the one girl who was my lead, people literally came up to me and apologized that she was my lead.
Oh,
and
no.
she always had like some snide comment to say. And finally, I sat her down because she was my lead, but she was not my company lead. Like, she didn't do shit. She didn't sign nothing. Nothing came out of her account. And I flat out told her, I'm like, I don't care what you think about me personally. Like, that's none of my business. You can talk to whoever you want about that. But professionally, what you say and how you say it, like, that's where we're going to draw the line. And people need to be able to do that. Like, I have no power distance. I don't give a fuck if you're the CEO of a company.
Yeah.
If you're doing me dirty, I'm going to let you know.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a level of respect, and, I'm not going to like just, cuss somebody out. But a lot of people kowtow to power because people make them afraid. I'm like, I'm not afraid of you. I have enough to back up what I do that I don't need you. I can go find another job anywhere else.
I'm the same way at work too. And that's kind of why I feel like I'm never going to get promoted, because I say how I feel and I mean it, and I stand up for myself. I speak out. I always joke around and say whenever I get on a call that my boss is on, which is rare, but I think to myself, oh God, she's probably like, please don't say nothing. Like, oh shit, here she comes.
Oh, my bosses know, like, if a customer's being an asshole, I'm going to let them know they're being an asshole.
Yeah.
Again, I would never cuss somebody out.
Yeah, you're not being disrespectful, but you're just standing up for yourself.
I'm really good as per my last email.
Oh,
if you
right.
reference this, like, I'll copy it. I'll screenshot shit. Be like, see this? This is what was said. This is why I said it. Remind me again why I'm wrong. Oh, right. I'm not. Have a blessed day.
Oh, God. You can't ever be wrong.
I could be like, I'll fall on the sword if I'm wrong.
Yeah, me too. I admit my mistakes too.
And I will apologize, and I will take whatever lumps that are coming my way, especially the good.
Yeah. So I was going to talk about, one of my favorite rappers, Big Sean. He says, tell your friends about it, make multi-million-dollar schemes about it. And I love that, because the people that are around you, the ones that, when you're doing stuff like that, when you're bettering yourself and you're growing and you're building your empire, your true friends are going to come through for sure. Like you for me with this podcast and other friends that I have. I think I have, God, how many followers on Instagram? Over 1,000. And Facebook, I think I have like 700 friends. I don't know, whatever. But it's funny to me how little people will share or comment or repost my podcast or even talk to me about my podcast. Now, don't get me wrong. I have a ton of people who listen and who follow me and who chime in, and I love them. But it's funny to me, especially I have close friends who they disregard the podcast altogether. And I'm like, wait, I'm trying to do something cool. Like, but it's interesting to me.
Well, because a lot of people are insecure and they don't like to see success, especially when they're left in the dust.
Right.
I mean, I honestly, I've had to deal with that with my family. It's like, I am much more successful than my siblings in a lot of regards, not just financially, just in life. And, I had to bat off snide comments about all kinds of different things. And again, you have to set bitches straight. Be like, do you understand what I did to get here? Like, I worked 2 jobs, put myself through college and grad school.
Right.
I have 0 debt. I'm building a $600,000 house. Like, I live, like, how many fucking 80-hour weeks for 10 years? Like,
right.
I put in the work. Like, this wasn't just handed to me. And a lot of people
don't see that either. They see, they see me just publishing these episodes. They don't see the hours that I spend, and I work full time. You know what I mean? I am a single mom.
Kid,
yeah, I'm a single mom, and I work out all the time, and I maintain my friendships and yada, yada, yada. But, it takes a lot, and there's a lot of groundwork that comes out. You look on Apple iTunes and you just say, oh, a new episode's published. Well, yeah, that like took a whole week and 8 to 10 hours of editing and, whatever. So make lists, surround yourself with those that have similar goals and values. And then the next one I think is set tangible goals. You should always have like a goal waiting for you, waiting for you to meet it, and it could be something like, for me, like I want to earn a promotion at work, and then, or it could be something like, I want to, like you said, work hard and buy that house that I want, or it could be pay down your debt. There's a lot of, God, we have a lot of stuff in common, but, there's a lot of different things, but what are you working towards if you don't have a goal set?
Well, and if you don't have something to work towards, you are not living, you are existing.
Yeah.
You are programmatically going through your life and just saying, today's Monday, and Monday I drop the kids off and they go to soccer practice. Tuesday I go to the gym. But if you don't have a goal, if you're not always looking to grow as an individual,
right?
And if you're in a relationship as a couple, again, you're just going through the motions.
Yeah, I love what you said, just existing. Yeah.
And a lot of people exist. And it's sad. And I'm not saying like I 100% all the time out there doing something. I like my downtime and, I binge on Netflix with the rest of them.
Right.
But it's like, you have
your long-term goal in your on the horizon.
And I'm always working towards something.
Right, me too.
I
I feel like I
always
always
want
am
to be
too.
better.
Yep.
And
it could be a small goal. It doesn't have to be earn a promotion or buy that house. It could be something small that you can work towards, and then
it could be like,
baby steps.
I want to start learning French, so you buy a book.
Right.
And,
Start reading it.
Parlez-vous français? That's about all I know in French, guys. I'm not that smart.
I don't know shit about that. All right, and then
well, you
also,
do know voulez-vous coucher avec moi?
Oh yeah. All right. So, and then another thing I was going to say that a way that I, stay on my fuck bitches get money track is learning to focus. That's another huge thing, and eliminating distractions. Like, I think a huge one is your cell phone. Any type of distraction
hold on.
keeps you from.
Just last podcast, you're like, you need to get on TikTok. You can go down the rabbit hole.
No, but I'm saying that's my like downtime. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not looking at TikTok all day at work. I'm not looking at TikTok when I'm planning episodes or, doing something with my kid or whatever. But I mean, whatever your goal is, like, try to eliminate distractions or things that will prevent you from getting there.
You know what a lot of people don't do? You have to learn to be able to say goodbye to people.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot tell you how many times, again, in my own family situation, where people cling on to somebody who is dragging them down, or not building them up. It doesn't even have to be that they're dragging you down, but if somebody's keeping you from being better, that is not somebody you need in your life. And a lot of people are afraid to be alone. They're afraid because they've been with somebody for 20 years. They've been friends with them for so long.
Mm-hmm.
You have to walk away. If somebody is not good in your life and they are not there to be a positive force and influence, good the fuck bye.
Yeah.
Like, kick rocks, pound sand, eat a dick, put a dick in your ear, and fuck what you heard. Like,
I love that saying. You said it so fast. Put a dick in your ear and fuck what you heard. I love that. Oh my God. I was also going to say too, one of the things I do that helps me stay focused and work on a task is I play mind games with myself. So it's like an if then else, and I'll like have like a treat at the end. I'll be like, okay, if I write this episode outline, or if I get this amount of editing done, and for me, my win is always I get to see Captain Morgan. Like that to me is like my drive.
That's a lot of if thens then.
That's my drive to get me. I'm like, okay, if I do this, work hard, play hard. Like I got to do the work first, then I can play.
I mean,
with myself.
I went to the gym right before I came in. My trainer kicked my ass for an hour. Now we're going to do this, and then we're going to go to Buck Murphy's.
Yes.
Which, I don't know how many people are local to the Southern Maryland area, but there's a quaint little
No, don't
eatery.
tell about the bar. Oh, no, we shouldn't expose it. I don't want everybody to know how great it is, so no.
Well, there's a quaint
we
little
already
eatery
did it. It's already out.
named Buck Murphy's. And let me tell you
that fucking bar.
the shenanigans that happen at Buck Murphy's.
Oh, God. Are we going to start talking about what it's like to go out with me?
I think we should. You guys, Adrienne is very, very smart. She's very serious. She busts her ass. But she will also put you in situations you never thought you'd be in. So,
it's not my fault. This shit just happens.
No, it doesn't just happen because you are like, listen to my podcast. I talk about fucking everybody and blowjobs and getting cum in my eye. Funny story about that.
Oh, yeah.
But so we're at this lovely little eatery, Buck Murphy's, which is truly in a basement.
Of a house.
Concrete floor. And Adrienne is talking your podcast up because that's what you do as a small business owner. You you advertise and promote. Right. Well, this guy who was late 50s, early 60s is the one she's chatting up. And so he proceeds to tell us that he is an active swinger and he and his wife have a girlfriend.
Oh, yeah. But wait a minute. First, before this even happened, remember the one guy was like buying us drinks.
Oh,
and
he
like,
was buying
our whole tab.
He was buying the whole bar drink. I mean, there was like 10 people there, but still.
I know. This wild shit was happening.
Yeah.
So all this stuff's happening. But
these two guys are friends.
Oh, yeah, they were.
So the guy who was a swinger is like, don't tell my friend, I think his name was like Roger or Bob or some random white guy name. He's like, don't tell, he doesn't know. But this guy then proceeds not only to tell us about his sexual escapades, but give us photographic evidence.
Yeah, I know.
So we saw a picture of his wife with multiple guys' ejaculants on her chest.
I know.
And then 20 minutes later, his wife walks in and he's introducing us to her.
I know.
Like she's fucking Mary goddamn Poppins.
I'm like, this is fucking awkward.
I don't think you understand the level of how much I know about you right now. And you're being introduced to me like I've never heard your name before. I'm like, I have seen every single part. Like, I've gone to colleges. I've not seen as much of your body as I have.
I know. I was like, wow, this is really happening.
And you know what's funny is I am not a prude by any stretch of the imagination.
No, yeah.
Like, I'm like, if between consenting adults and you're not being hurt and you're not hurting anybody else, do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
But there are some things you just don't show straight. It's one thing to talk about it, but be like,
I know.
this is like, I just
think it's me. I think people are just so open and they,
well,
you
but
know what I mean?
but it's just, I would just think about like, if I did that to my husband, how would he react? Now, he would probably kill me.
Yeah.
But, it just.
Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. But that was like, I never thought I would be able to go to work next day. Like, guess what I saw, guys? A bitch would come all over her titties.
Yeah, I know. And then she walked in. I know that was.
And you know what's fun? People who are like, I'm a swinger. You know, I'm all. Never the people you want them to be.
Yeah, you know.
I mean, if I was 60 and missing some teeth, this guy would be really attractive.
Well, he wasn't missing teeth, but there was definitely.
But if I were missing teeth, then I would be like, yeah, this is what I have to settle for. But I'm like,
I know that's how I feel like that's how those places are, though.
Well, yeah, it's like, you ever see advertisement for like nude beaches or like gay cruises? All these like hot buff guys and girls. Yeah. And then you like see like real pictures. I'm like, oh, yeah. You don't go to the beach. You just go to the buffet.
So remember, he gave me that card, right? And he was like, in Jamaica, there's this place. And I was like,
which I feel like that's the beginning of every horror movie ever.
I know. I was like, yeah, I'm not booking a trip there. But yeah, they had like he had like a Facebook page donated to like.
That would be like a great porn movie. Like, Escape to Whore Island or something.
Yes, I'm sure it's been done.
20 times.
Brown chicken, brown cow.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, definitely. That shit's definitely been done. All right, so wild times with Adrian. I got to talk about my birthday this year because this was something so funny that happened. And I often reference it and people are like, what the fuck is she talking about? So on my birthday this year, all I wanted to do was drink high noons and sit on the beach. So that's what I did. So I was in Bethany and it was a wild day. And you know, you just like almost know when things are going to be wild. I don't know. I just have like a feeling. This is the day with
Adrian, yes.
I just have like this feeling where I'm like, today's going to get crazy.
If there's water involved, in Adrian.
Yeah, that's true.
Beach, pool.
I know.
Boat.
I know.
Bathtub. Wild.
All right. Oh my God. I do have a really good bathroom story too. Anyway, there's so much to tell. So on my birthday, I'm at the beach having a great time. I get in the ocean and I get covered in sea lice. Have you ever had any experience with sea lice before?
No, because I'm clean.
Well, no.
I know.
It's like a patch of like, it's sea lice, right? And there's nothing you can do. So I got out and I was like, and it doesn't hit you at first either. It's like when they start to get dry. And so I was sitting there and I was like, oh my God, my titties are itching. And there's like clear little lice all over my boobs. So I just got up, threw my top off. I'm like dumping bottles of water all over me. I mean, it was a fucking shit show. So then I'm like, oh my God, I need a drink. I need to drink more. So I'm like drinking more. So then I'm like, I'm not getting back in. I'm going to the pool bar. So I go to the pool bar and my friends are buying shots. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. Like, I cannot do accelerants. Like, that's a bad idea. And it was happening.
Can.
Oh, yeah, I cannot. So when they're passing shots around, I'm like, no accelerants for me, but thank you. So I'm up at the pool bar. And one of the funniest stories was, and I wasn't there for this, but my friend was like, Adrian, people were singing you happy birthday. And you were just like sitting on a bar stool with your head down. It was like singing happy birthday to a dead guy. Like, oh my God. But then one of the funniest parts of the whole story is Prince Charming got me home and I was like walking in the grass, probably zigzagging on my way. And I ran into a bird bath. And on my way up, I don't know why the fuck, I picked up the dish and just like dumped the water all over me. Like it was disgusting bird bath water.
That's gross.
All over me. And I like dropped the bowl.
I'm sure Prince Charming was like, that's hot.
He's like, what the fuck? And I like passed out or whatever. But one of the funniest part of this whole entire story, and it's probably going to make me look like Mother of the Year, and people are going to judge me, but I don't care. But my child was there on the way home, and she was like, she always is like referencing that. She's like, I don't like drunk mom. And she's like, you got covered in dirty bird bath water. I'm like, bitch, don't ever forget that bird bath story. She's just so mad about that fucking bird bath. Like, I'm like, God damn it,
remember
shut
that
up.
On her 18th, okay, 21st birthday, she will be legal. And when she gets, like, my 21st birthday, my aunt and uncle took me out to a very nice dinner. Then we went to the Mexican, what was it? It was a Mexican restaurant in Annapolis. I forget what it was called. I do not remember being walked out of there by my uncle.
Oh, no.
And the barmaid.
Oof.
And
that's the worst. I haven't gotten drunk like that in a really long time because I said no accelerants.
So yesterday.
Oh, yeah. No, seriously. Like I
think
can't.
That's since the pool party, not last summer, the summer before that.
No, that's happened, but that's way too long. But we're going to talk about that. But, I don't drink like that anymore because I cannot afford the hangovers. Like I fucking hate it. Like that night, the next morning after my birthday, we drove home and I was dry heaving. I mean, I had to pull
That is
over to
the
dry heave.
worst.
That is the worst fucking feeling ever.
So I don't drink because I'm too nice of a drunk.
I've
will
never
buy
seen you
everybody shots.
Or have dicks in your mouth.
I mean, I'm not I'm a good boy. I'm not a whore. At least not that anybody knows about.
Yeah.
But no, but see, I am, and I'm super flirtatious. I will flirt with my worst drunk story.
I seriously have never seen you drunk ever.
I'm old. But,
no, you just don't let yourself go. I understand. Good for you.
So, but my worst drunk story is I was 21 in college, and I was on the Eastern Shore. So every Sunday, I would go to Delaware to Rehoboth, where my family is from, and I go to a drag show. And let me tell you, Delaware drag queens are the shit. Like these busted bitches in Baltimore with like their 5 o'clock shadows, and not being like facetious. But there was a quick tangent. There was this one girl. Her name was Dior Douglas. Beautiful man, stunning woman, not fair. Well. He was behind the bar as in boy clothes, and I tipped it. This is the only person I ever tipped more than a couple $. Like he got 20s every time he was out on his thing doing.
So what happened?
So I was drinking rum and pineapples, and it was like pint glasses, and he was filling up with rum and like a splash of pineapple.
Oof.
So
that's making my nipples hard.
So I black out. I wake up with my friend driving down 24 back to Salisbury with with the car door open and me throwing up out of the door. The next day, my friend shows me a video. We're out on the those white benches that are on the boardwalk, and I am screaming unholy hell to anything and everything. And my friend the whole time is shh, shh, shh. Well, this guy walks by, and that's when she decides that this is the time Zach can speak.
Oh, no.
So first off, I'm offering every sexual favor that has ever been offered. I'm like, are you an alien?
Wait.
And she fucking took video. I'm like,
I was going to say your friend's video and all this?
I was like, how dare you?
I agree.
Terrible. This is one of those fuck bitches get money. Like, how dare you take a bit? Like, that's when you let me talk, you asshole.
Guess what? I had someone that did that to me. It was where were we? I can't remember, but I had someone that was like taking photos and like the next day she texted me and she was like, oh my gosh, look how funny this is. And I was like, what the fuck, creeper? Like, that is fucking creepy. Do not ever do that again. And I was like, I'm not fucking hanging out with her. Like, that is rude. You know, I come from a generation where not everything needs to be fucking snapped and categorized. And
you come from a generation where pages weren't even a thing. You still use a rotary phone.
No, I had a pager, bitch. But yeah, I'm like, not everything needs to be documented. And I just thought it was really fucking rude. Like,
well, I literally told her,
no friend would do that.
I was like, do not, and she didn't. I was like, do not ever like put this on Facebook. I mean, because I knew a girl in high school. She got kicked out of high school for posting pictures of herself in a bikini because she went to a Catholic school.
Oh, jeez.
And her name was associated. And like that was when like jobs were like firing people for stuff that was on Facebook. I was like, do not.
Oh God! Well, nowadays you can't do anything without getting fired or chastised or
the whole world. Oh my God! Eat a dick.
I know. I mean, really. God. Okay, so let's talk about that pool party. That was seriously one of the funnest pool parties ever. A lot of shenanigans.
Was it though?
It was. I remember it was fun. Hold on.
So what you remember was fun. Let's talk about what you don't remember.
No, so, you know, it's funny. I always make margarita buckets. That's my thing. Like the frozen old, like, what do they call it? The big bucket, like those shitty margaritas, but I love them. The things
you find on the bottom shelf. That
yeah, they're all dusty. Hell yeah. Like that's my speed. So I made a bucket and of course I had Katina, and me and her, I think, split the bucket. And it's so funny. I love her.
I show up like an hour late.
I know. I want to tell you. So every time me and her drink at the pool, she's passed out on the patio chair, and she's down. She's done. You won't see her again.
That I've ever seen Katina not pass out.
I know, it's her thing. It's so funny.
I mean, and she's a pleasant drunk. She drinks, she goes to sleep, and then she wakes up and she's good.
I know, and then she'll clean up if she's wonderful.
Oh yeah, when she woke up, she's like, "You guys need to eat," and like she fucking fed us. I was like, "I'm not mad about this." But so let's talk about the after the bucket.
We were playing volleyball. There was a lot of stuff going on.
So we're there, and
you love talking about this
argument. Oh, it was great because it was just like you didn't realize this was happening. She's like, no. So
we were playing drinking Jenga. And then my neighbors made those pineapples, those like spiked pineapples. Mm-hmm. I was eating pineapple, thinking I'm eating pineapple, bitch. It tasted like a little bit like the Malibu, and it was delicious, but I didn't realize I was putting down like shots. You know, that's not a good look.
Well, so at one point during drinking Jenga,
yeah.
Prince Charming says something about his...
I think I had my feet in my friend's cooler.
The whole time. The whole time. So Prince Charming says something about his Bruce Wayne pad.
Oh, yeah, because that's when he... Yeah.
And that clearly was a trigger. because Adrian for 45 minutes was cussing. He wasn't even there for most of this. He had walked away, and she is still cussing at where he was standing, talking about, she don't need this money. You live in my house. I was like, okay, strong independent bitch. So, like I said, for like 45 minutes, like, Prince Charming and his friend, they had gone to like smoke a cigar, like outside of the pool area.
Bitching.
Like,
my God,
the whole, like, it had gone like day to night. Like, she's still there.
One of the funniest things is I remember his friend lost his wedding. It's not funny, but he lost his wedding ring. You remember that?
Yeah, and like and it was one of those like silicone ones. I think it was like a blue color.
Yeah,
which,
we couldn't find
surprise,
it.
Surprise, in a white and blue pool.
Yeah.
And
so he lost his wedding ring, and then I remember Katina lost her Fitbit. I found it 2 weeks later in the grass. That bitch wore it for like a whole year after it had like this big water spot. I'd be like, Katina, what time is it? She's like, 7. It might be 7:10 or it might be 7:15. I'm not sure.
Sometime
like,
between 7 and 8.
Then the number's missing. So, oh my God, that was so funny. I remember I lost my speaker. I forgot. I mean, I had a
so we're back to the
towel,
every time
like,
Adrian's around water.
Oh my God.
Down.
I had to do a walk of shame the next day. I told the lifeguard, and I remember the lifeguard was drinking our beers because we were all drinking there. It was just us and like 2 other neighbors. So it was like basically a personal party.
It's like almost an Olympic-sized swimming pool. Like it's a big pool.
Yeah, and there's just us. So we were letting it rip. I remember the lifeguard got drunk and he was all hungover.
I didn't remember him drinking.
Yes. But yeah, the lifeguard was fucking like all hungover because he was drinking beers. I'm like, wow, this place is a shit show yesterday. You know, that's just the way things go. I remember I had to like give people back things. Like I was like, oh, here's your cooler. Oh, here's your towels. Oh, hey, here's your Fitbit. Sorry, I can't find your wedding ring. Sorry about that.
Amazon 2-day delivery.
Oh man, you know, I miss the summer. I'm looking forward to it. I'm spending the whole summer at that. I really miss the pool. I'm gonna have to make some more memories there this year.
Like, February was such a gross month. Like, the fact that it was 82 degrees today, like, you would have leave every window and sunroof in my car was open.
I know. It feels good, you know, and being just this whole coronavirus thing and like being, you know, the shutdowns and the restrictions and, you know, all this stuff, like just to be able to get outside and enjoy the outdoors, that's huge. Like even opening your windows and shit, it just feels good. You hear people in the neighborhood, like I heard kids playing, you know what I mean?
You better believe I was rocking out to some 90s Madonna, like.
Oh shit. God. Yeah, I'm bumping down the road all the time. It's usually Wu-Tang, but all right, so I want to talk about something. One of my listeners reached out to me and she told me that she had her first orgasm when she was 29. Think about that for a minute. 29.
I feel like there should be support groups for people like that.
I know. Like, I was like mind blown. I was like, girl, really? And she was like, yeah, I just didn't know, you know, what to do or what it was. And I was just like so mind blown by that. And then I started thinking like, and asking other people.
So this is the real question. Was she 29 in like 1947?
I'm telling you, like, no, like, and she was married and I was just like mind blown by that. So anyway, so I started finding myself asking people like, when did you have your first orgasm? Like, how old were you? Because I thought about my age and my first orgasm and I was like, okay, wow. Like I guess I'm way off from what other people were or what the average is.
You're the outlier?
Yeah. I'm bringing down the average for sure.
In more ways than one. Adrian.
Oh, I know. All day, every day. So I asked a bunch of people on social media and I've been asking almost everybody I know. And I found like the average was around 13, right? And there were a few people that one was younger than me. So I'm like, yes, so it wasn't that bad.
I was younger than you.
Yeah, I forget your number. Okay, well, what was your number?
So I had puberty really, really young. I was 7.
You were 7? So, and you were just like jerking off and...
Yes, but...
And like, where were you? At your parents' house?
I was in the Taj Mahal, Adrian. Like, where do most people find their sexual, like, awakening?
Well, for me, okay, I was 9 years old, and it was on my elementary school playground. So my first orgasm was... like, you know, the swing set, like the old school swing sets. Mm-hmm. Back in the day, too, they had huge swing sets.
Oh, yeah, like the 10 foot.
They don't even make those anymore, I guess, because kids could die or whatever. And like, I would climb the pole, and like, I was wearing shorts, and like, every time I like inched up more and more, I was like, huh, that feels weird. Okay, that feels good. Like, what's that? And then I had an orgasm at the top of that pole.
So let's break this down. You had an orgasm on a pole.
On a pole. Mm-hmm.
And... that was the beginning of the rest of your life.
I wish. Honestly, if I didn't have stretch marks from having Emmy, I would have no problems being a stripper.
I used to live in downtown Baltimore, and I
I know.
going on Gay Street, seeing some of the things
I
coming out
know.
of there.
Those girls are confident. I'm not that confident when it comes to like...
There's no reason for them to be that confident.
I
Like,
know.
I would pay them a lot of money to never take their clothes off.
Oh, listen, I just, but I
And I'm
will
not even
say,
body shaming. I'm just saying, like, if your thigh is pinching out of your fishnets, like 10 pounds of sausage in a 5-pound casing.
I don't know. I like thick girls though. I don't like skinny bitches.
No, I'm about a thick bitch.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between thick and thick arms.
Oh my god.
And again, I'm not like super svelte, but like dress for the body you have.
I know what you're saying.
Actually, today at the gym, there was a guy. He was probably in his 60s, and he was from an era where they wore very short shorts, playing basketball.
No, that is a fucking thing, by the way. These kids wearing short shorts. Why?
Well, but he wasn't a kid, and he did not have the body to be wearing short
man.
shorts. Like, if you have really nice legs, show him. He should be in track pants.
Oh, God. You know, I've noticed that trend, though, the short shorts. I'm always like, what the hell's going on here?
Again, everything's recycled.
Yeah, you're
The
right.
70s
It's
are
like,
coming
yeah,
back.
you're right. So anyway, yeah, so mine was on a pole, and it was funny because I am thinking to myself, those teachers must have been like, why is that bitch on that pole every fucking day? Because you know my ass.
You were back second to third.
Hell yeah! I was like, I'm gonna go climb the pole, y'all. I didn't didn't even know what it was.
Put you in a convent real quick.
No, and I was gonna tell you too. I mean, it was before the age of 10. I mean, I would stuff my bra and pretend I had big titties. Like, all I wanted was big titties. And I guess what you wish for, because I mean, seriously. And now I'm like, God, I wish they weren't that big. But yeah, I like wanted to have big boobs, and I was fantasizing and like thinking, it's weird. I would look at my dad's Easy Riders, like that was definitely before the age of 10. Cause my parents moved me out of Greenbelt when I was 10, and I was still there in that apartment. So yeah, I was young. Really young.
So if you're sending your kids to an elementary school in Greenbelt,
that place is gone. It's a museum now. It's a museum. Isn't that crazy?
For what? What is there to be?
It became like
historical in Greenbelt.
Well, it is. It's an old Greenbelt, and it's actually Greenbelt is one of the first planned communities like ever. But anyway, we're going off, and I wanted to say that, you know, people were also telling me like where they were. Like, this one girl was like, I was in a car and I didn't know what the fuck was happening, and then a lot of people said they were in.
I guess that was before the shocks on a car. So she was getting a little.
No, like she had like a orgasm, you know. But I felt like a lot of people shared that their first orgasm was with a partner, and I'm like, how?
So,
did you not touch yourself? That's all I did.
Odd, and like. It's a psychological thing. Like, therapists will tell you this, that most men, their first sexual experience is with another man. When they're boys, because, you know, boys are experimenting. I mean, it's nothing sexual, but
yeah,
like mutual masturbation, stuff like that. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's like,
really, I never heard that.
It really is like,
wow.
From a psychologist, like most men, and I mean, probably a lot of, I would assume, girls too. I remember my next door neighbors. Like, we used to play doctor.
I never whipped my clit out or nothing. No, that was never happening. So anyway, so it was funny. They were talking about like cars and parents' house, and I was thinking, it made me remember that this one guy I was fucking when I was in college, he was a couple years younger than me, and it was during Hurricane Isabel. You remember that? God, remember that big whatever?
Oh, yeah. It literally flooded all of downtown Annapolis. Like, up to Church Circle, yeah.
So anyway, his parents were home, and I was thinking about, like, sex with parents home. And me and him, this is my record, by the way. We had sex 7 times in one night. I mean, like, the fucking Energizer Bunny, okay? This motherfucker, like, never quit. He also had a foot fetish. My one and only guy that had a foot fetish. I wasn't against it. Like, I don't mind. So he
actually, like, fuck your feet?
No, we never did that. I have jerked a guy off my feet before, though. It wasn't him.
That just seems like it would be uncomfortable on the receiving end, because you have to have a lot of control to be able to do that.
Yeah, and I have finesse, so I think I was pretty good. And it wasn't like the whole time. It was like an ending. Yeah, I do. I'm proud to say that. But anyway, we fucked 7 times, and I remember thinking, like, I guess his parents were high. I don't know what the fuck, but how they didn't come downstairs, like, what the hell? But 7 times. It made me think of that. Like, that was my record. Do you know how many times you've ever had sex before in a night? What your record is?
Probably not in a night, but I've gone like 2 hours straight before. Like once, but
nice.
I'm like, okay, I'm done. Get off me.
Yeah. You know, that's a good question. Like, how long is sex supposed to be? I say like 30 minutes.
I would say until both partners are equally finished.
Oh, it's a shame you're gay. Fuck. Yeah. 99%. No, that's not true. That's a little high, but a lot of men, they don't care.
Well,
about
I mean, and
finishing.
there's between like getting or giving like oral and be like, hey, this is a quickie, then I'm gonna.
No, yeah.
But like, if it is like true sex, like, trust me, there is no guy in the world that wants to be blue balled. So guys, why do you think your girl would want to be blue clitted?
Yeah.
Like,
I always talk about that. Like I have like the female equivalent of blue balls. I've definitely had that.
I mean, that's
It's a
probably one of
thing.
women's biggest complaint. I mean, think about this poor
Yeah.
29-year-old. She literally was probably married to this guy. Even
know.
for a year, if they had sex once a week, that's 52 times an orgasm. Not one of those times.
Yeah, if I don't, and I mean it's hard. It takes a lot of time and
Look.
dedication. It takes a certain like the guy has to be a giver. You have to be a giver, and a lot of men aren't givers in bed. They're just not.
Well, and girls also have to speak the fuck up.
I know. No, so that's what, like, if you're not a giver to me, then I'm taking care of it myself, and I'm introducing
let me
toys,
tell
and
you,
I'm doing all these
If
things.
the role was reversed and a guy got off and I had a vagina, I'd sit on his fucking face.
Yeah, exactly.
So something happened.
Right, yeah.
I'm like, you're gonna fuck either your tongue or your nose, bitch. Pick one.
I'd have a pole installed in the corner. I'm gonna go
Or
climb
on a
this.
slight angle so
Yeah,
you can climb up and
exactly. Yeah, I was
down.
gonna say I'm gonna go climb this pole now. That shit's funny. All right, so
Well,
I
but
want
it's
to.
also funny because men get offended when women try to finish themselves. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't do the job. It's like, two hump
Clearly.
no, you didn't. Like,
Yeah. Oh my God. I've had experiences with that. I remember this one guy I fucked. He was like a jackrabbit fucker. That was the worst. Have you ever seen that episode of Sex and the City when Carrie gets like fucked and she has to stand up at the wedding, her back's all out and shit? Like, God damn. That is not a good look, by the way. If you're
No.
a jackrabbit fucker, not a good look. Speaking of sex and orgasms and all these things, I feel like, you know, you achieve orgasms as a woman when you have the buildup, right?
Mhm.
It takes a lot. It's not as easy as just like dip your dick and roll out, you know? So I am a big fan of sex games. I have my sex match game on my website, midlifecraving.com, and I'm going to put another one up there. And I tried to think of like a funny, like little name for it. And I was like, what do I call it? Like envelope. It's an envelope game. I'm just going to call it the fucking envelope game. Okay.
You're not into cheesy titles?
I'm not-
Who would have thought?
So it's basically where you have an envelope, you give it to your partner, and it's full of like, they pull one card out at a time, or like one like coupon looking
Mhm.
thing at a time. And it's like, kiss me like you miss me. And then tell me 3 traits that you love about me. You know, suck my titties, whatever. And it's just a way to get you talking about sex, to get you in the mood. You know, a lot of couples out there are not comfortable, you know, making the first move. So it's a great way to be an icebreaker for the bedroom. You know, and
Oh.
it could be a married couple that you've been together for 20 years, or it could be something new where you can learn about each other as well.
Mhm.
So on my website, midlifecraving.com, go download it and have fun, and then hit me up. Let me know what you think.
Let
I
me
love
guess. Lick my clits in there 3 times.
Oh God, you know I don't have a lick my clit one because that card that's a tough one. Like in that match game, that I never get past that card. It's like move the cards, we're fucking. All right, so I also want to take a moment to answer some questions. I love when you guys reach out and ask me questions. I love giving the answers because, you know, I have all the advice, but I need to look in the mirror. You know, I give the best advice, but not to myself.
That's
So
most people.
it is.
It's very hard to be introspective.
Yes, you're right. But I love answering questions because it helps me, you know, learn and grow as well. So anyway, so the first question is, and this is a good one. If a relationship is worth pursuing, how long should I wait for sex?
Between 15 and 20 minutes after he pays for dinner.
You know, this is such a thing. God, for me, I don't feel like there should be a timetable. What do you think? I mean, is it still that if you get, I don't know, if you get laid the first time, then she's not a challenge and you don't want her anymore? I don't know. I guess if you feel it out, you guys are mutually into each other. I mean, what's the fucking point of making them wait?
I really think you have to test the chemistry.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you go out for coffee on a Tuesday afternoon, maybe not the right time for sex.
Yeah, not the right date, right.
If you go over to his house for dinner on a Friday night, be like, I'm going to bring an extra pair of panties.
Yeah, that's true.
I feel like you have to feel all that out. And for my husband and I, like we met online and we talked for a couple of weeks before we truly met.
Mhm.
So there was already some sort of a connection.
Right,
Like,
and
I
most
feel
people
like
are
if
doing
you-
that anyway. You're
Yeah, I mean,
talking first.
So I feel like if you have that connection and it's there,
Yeah.
then it's okay. But I mean, and if it's a hit it and quit it, like get yours and get out. But I think it all depends. I will say I would never buy a car without having test driven it first.
Oh, for sure.
So if you, and I'm not judging you if you want to wait till marriage. Again, you do you, Bill. But just remember, that's the last dick you'll be riding for the rest of your life. You gotta make sure it fucking works.
Same penis forever. You know, that's a good. So another thing I was thinking of when you were just talking about that is, if you fuck him and he dumps you or whatever, like fuck him. You would have wasted the next 6 dates making him wait, and then he would have fucked and dumped you anyway. I feel like either way, the end result is going to be the same. He's either going to be really into you, and you're going to fucking know it, by the way. There's no gray area. There's no games. That is such a big thing.
Also, really good tip, and I did this, but if the guy asks to go Dutch on a date, that really means he wants to be friends. If if I was interested with a guy, I
Yeah.
would pay for dinner.
Yeah.
And
So I'm the kind of bitch that's like, no, I'll pay half. Like I like to pay half. Like I actually like am pushing that.
You do not like to have people do favors for you.
You're right.
I'm like, I'll buy you dinner. No.
I know.
Like,
I always feel like I'm going to owe somebody something. I don't like it.
but see, I'm the exact because if I feel like I owe you something, I'm gonna pay you back.
Yeah.
Like you may not want it, but you're gonna get paid back somehow.
I'm the same too. Katina and I fight big time about this because she's the same exact way. Neither of us want to do anything for, we don't want somebody to treat us. And so we'll send back and forth. We'll Venmo the same $10 back and forth. It'll be like this, $10. And she'll be like, no, bitch, $10 back. And then I'm like, fuck you, it's coming back, $10. And like our whole exchange is just like back and forth. We do have like that $10 thing going on. Yeah, I don't like people so I am someone that does that. But I'm just saying, like, if you sleep with him on the first date and he dumps you, I'm really sorry, that sucks. But he was an asshole anyway. Like a guy that's into you, he's gonna be into you and he's gonna stick around. There's not gonna be any gray areas, there's not gonna be any games. Like, remember that, and if he wants to fucking see you, he's going to see you. If he wants to talk to you, he's going to reach out to you.
Well, and guys, same thing. If she's interested in you, all those same things apply. Like,
I agree.
Like, and I feel like a lot of people, like, I had a roommate who, every guy she dated, she was in love with, but they only wanted to call her after 9:00.
Oh.
I was like, Kim, you're trying to turn a fuckboy into a husband, and that just isn't gonna work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
that's a good thing. Yeah. If he's only reaching out to you after 9 p.m., girl, that's a booty call.
It's not because he cares about what your day was like.
Exactly.
He's not trying to discuss our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Like, he's trying to get it in and out and leave.
And I'm not hating on that either, but you got to have the expectations with your partner.
Well, exactly.
Or the person that it is. Like, if that's what it is, that's what it is.
Back to like one of my favorite sayings is you have to know your value and accept nothing less.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're out actively searching for like a partner, and people are treating you like a fucking piece of meat, and if you let them, that they're going to treat you that way, and you're going to attract that attention. Right.
I've been in situations before where I'm just like, this isn't working for me anymore. Like, I'm not feeling good about this anymore. I don't want to do it. And you got to set the boundary. You have to be out. Yeah, you have to. So I kind of feel like we already answered this next question, but I see this all the time. And especially with the pandemic and dating and everything's text messaging, right? Mm-hmm. How long is too long for someone to leave me on read?
Again, I think that's situational. You and I can't have a cell phone
at work.
But if that is your
schedule,
you have to make that known.
Yes.
I knew people was like, I'm dating this girl and, she doesn't text me back. It's like, well, she's a chef at she's a head chef at a major restaurant.
Right, she's not looking at her phone.
Like, yeah, she can't look at her phone. Mm-hmm. So I think it's situational, but if it's like, again, if he only replies to you at 9:00 and he's getting off at 2, it's not because he cares about your day.
Yeah.
And again, you have to know your value and be like, you know what? I'm worth somebody's time.
Yep.
If you can't pick up the phone and call me for 5 minutes just to see how I'm doing, goodbye.
Right. I agree. I mean, if you just know when someone's playing games. Mm-hmm. And I've talked about this before. I'm not someone who chases, and I do feel like that does kind of like make people want you more. But I mean, it's not that I'm playing games. It's just I'm just doing my thing. And then, but I'm not going to like leave somebody or totally distance myself. Like you said, like when I'm at work, I'll hit you up later, or I'll come back and be like, sorry, it was unavailable. I'm back now for like you know what I mean? Like you just know if you're questioning it and you're thinking about it.
Well, and on the flip side of that, like how long or how much time is it okay in between texts when somebody isn't responding? If somebody isn't responding, you text them constantly, like now you look like a fucking psychopath.
Yeah.
And again, I've seen people like that where they like have a whole argument with themselves because you're not responding back, and it's like, well,
it's like,
I
red
was
flag.
asleep.
That's a red flag, right?
You would text me at 2:00 in the morning. I was like, and you weren't dying,
right?
And I actually have a job, so
yeah, there is such thing as like when you're really just peppering someone with tons of questions and like text messaging them all the time. Like I had a guy when I was dating coming out of my marriage, and he bought me flowers twice in a week, and I was like, no, that's not normal.
I was dating a guy, and like he was a nice guy. Like I was never going to like marry him, but like I felt like we were like more like better off as like potential friends. But every time like we would end like one of our like dates or whatever we were doing, he would text me and be like, I'm sorry if I offended you. I'm like, well, what made you think that you offended me? And he was like, I don't know, but if I offended you, I'm like, trust me, if you offend me, I will let you know. I was like, and I'm very hard to offend. And Like I was like, you don't have to don't again that's a confidence thing, and confidence is a very big thing for me.
I was just gonna say that's a fucking confidence thing, and if you're the girl sitting around staring at your phone all the time, pick a goal. Fuck bitches, get money.
Yeah,
right? Like pick a goal, work towards that.
And, most people who are desperately trying to find somebody, the moment they stop, that's when they find somebody.
Yep.
Serendipity.
Yes. And just, take all that energy and invest it in yourself. Absolutely. Like don't waste your time dealing with that,
And let's face it, as a man, I feel like I can say this. Most men suck.
Yeah, I know. God. But in my next life, I want to be one. I'm telling you. They have it made.
But let's
they
be
have
honest,
it fucking made.
You'd be a fucking player.
Oh, I definitely would.
I don't want to be a player. You would want to be a player.
Absolutely. There's no shame in that. You're right. All right. So the next one this is a go one. How do you get your partner to do what you like in bed without making them feel inadequate? This is a really good one.
So first off, I think there has to be a level of trust and open communication.
But some people are not confident in the bedroom, not confident talking about the bedroom.
Some people are also overconfident, and then they think you're like, oh, well, I know what I'm doing. It's you were married to your husband for 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
You guys
No, wait, we were married for 7 years. Don't extend that shit.
Sorry. But you guys knew how to make hopefully you guys knew how to make each other happy. But what you would do to him may not feel good to another guy.
Right.
You might have great head game for one person, but it's I may not like what you're doing. It may hurt. I may be maybe more sensitive in some areas. So.
But so I say the way to approach that is to not go in on the defense, right? And also don't go in with any insults. I would use a lot of I statements. I was watching porn and I liked when I saw this, because then it doesn't make them feel like they're leaving you out of that, or you're missing something. It's, hey, I saw this, I want to try it. That's a great thing to try, is hey, I saw this in a porn and I want to try it out, right? But I feel like if you go in guns blazing and you're like, you don't eat me out enough, and if you start off right off the bat with putting him down, his confidence is gone.
Well, I mean,
right?
let's be honest, women. If a guy starts chastising you, how long before you tune him out and just get mad?
Right?
And guys do the same.
It's the same thing, right?
And I'm very vocal in bed, and I want that. If you like something, fucking tell me.
Yeah.
Because that's the whole point of giving pleasure, is to make sure the person receiving is actually enjoying it.
Another thing, you know what? Try my sex games. There's different things you can try, and you can make up sex games on your own, or surprise him with something like role playing and see what happens.
And see all kinds of shit.
Absolutely, yeah.
You don't have to read the Kama Sutra to know how the moves go. There's fucking images on Facebook.
I have a deck of playing cards upstairs, and I've never used it. I need to break that out. But it's different position for every day.
Mm-hmm. But like I said, I think first off, you have to go in with the humility. You have to. I mean, again, giving somebody pleasure is a very selfless thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be willing to change and understand what they're saying. But the people who are saying hey, I want this or that, again, there's a level of respect where
be open to it, right? Yeah. I mean, what do you have to lose? Pleasure. Ugh.
Yeah, right.
God, I'm open to anything. I'm out there. I mean, we all know this, but no kinks really turn me off. They just don't. I'm willing to try anything.
Yeah.
So, and that's why
I've seen
we're
the
friends.
videos.
Yeah, no, there is no videos. Well, wait. That's not true. There is one guy I did make videos with, Pawn Star. I trust him implicitly, so I'm not
Pawn Star,
concerned.
I think we have a fucking business deal going.
I know. It's funny because a couple years later, I emailed him and I was like, hey, so you're not gonna ever share those or do anything, So no, we're all good.
God, that was some crazy bitch he's dating might find him in.
No, that's a long time ago now. God, I had brown hair. Jesus, back then. Ugh. All right, so I'm ready to go get a beer. How about you?
For the last 20 minutes.
I know. All right, so episode 10 is coming up, and I feel like it's a pretty big milestone for me in this show. I cannot believe it's been 10 episodes already. And just like I was younger, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing or who the fuck I'm going to be doing it with, but I'll see you guys in 2 weeks.